Alright, so greetings everyone. Today we're going to go over two more AlphaGo games. As I mentioned last week, these two games are going to be a little bit shorter than we had looked over previously. They are still featuring very strong players, as you can see here. I'm pretty much taking only 9 dons. You can see that in the upper left-hand corner. They are featuring 9 don professionals versus AlphaGo. Now, those of you who for some reason did not happen to check out the first video, I think everyone did, but in the off chance you didn't, I do want to point out that what we noticed last time was that Sente was really, really important. We had one player who seemed fairly strong, just kind of get out Sente'd. He made attacks, they didn't really go anywhere, so AlphaGo was like, I don't care about what you're doing, my shape is going to be fine, I'm playing larger points, and kind of had to resign because the guy was like about 10 points down or so. This game, these two games, well, tell you what, I won't do spoilers on these two games. Let's just see how they play out. Let's see, this game, AlphaGo was black. Actually, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. AlphaGo was black in both of the games that I'm going over today. And the game I went over last time. Tell you what, I'll spend one more day doing AlphaGo games after this, and I will do one where AlphaGo is actually white. But alright. So AlphaGo begins off in the upper right 4-4 corner. And immediately we see, once again, taking this corner, allowing potential diagonal, which is not played, but, you know, it's offering. AlphaGo takes 3-4 stone. White does similar. Note, this game does not feature a 3-4 stone that faces black. There is one game that I thought about going over where someone did in fact say that they were going to play a game that actually did feature a 3-4 stone that faced black, which is a really, really aggressive game to go over. I might do that one at some point. But alright. Black's turn. Black takes large enclosure. White approaches, modern. Black has options. Black can back off. Black can pincer in many different ways. Unsurprising that AlphaGo backs off and simply takes an enclosure because AlphaGo is all about dem points. White asks, can I settle? I bump stones. And we have an approach. Did not play in the corner because the corner is usually regarded as being a little bit too slow. It also gets rid of Aji, in case you're curious, because we might want to play the pincer, we might want to play the 3-3. We don't really know what we want to do there, but there's no reason to play here when we can still extend. I'm not going to say never defend the 3-3. I mean, you can defend the 3-3, it's just not something that you absolutely have to do. That's all. White follows up into the 3-3. And black says, that was too slow, I'd be playing faster. Would appear white is adopting a territorial strategy against AlphaGo, complete with backing off for more points. Okay, let's see how that goes for him. Get this placement right. Black takes Sente and reapproaches. Doesn't simply try and do something like this, for example, because of the multitude of ways that we can still invade. wouldn't really be able to consider a move like this to be points yet. And there's nowhere that you can play that would seal off all of this as territory for yourself, right? Like, if we play here, there's still really huge ways that you can be attacked here. If we go further, then we're leaving another weak point behind. Along with those, this one we already talked about. We could go here, but again, there's still weak points and pincers. There's no way that one move is going to secure all this. And if you say that I'm going to play here to at least settle myself, well, as we already mentioned, the 3-3 is not Sente, right? So we could do that, but then maybe something else occurs from white. Maybe we play this way and settle along here and attack the one stone. So, not doing any of that. Instead, changing directions. White comes out, because we don't want this to be a black stone. If this is a black stone, that's going to be very, very uncomfortable for white. So instead we play here. AlphaGo jumps out. We've got ways to build back in here. Not really concerned about this stone because the diagonal is a little bit slow. We've got this for black that we can use to possibly settle. We've got an extension still. So this is not a stone that really needs help right now. White comes out. Black settles. And now we have a little bit of a problem on our hands. As white, we need to make this worth something. That's going to be tough. A little bit tough. I mean, maybe we can settle something like this later, if we're lucky. Maybe we can do something like this later, but right now we don't really see where we're making points from this position. And if we wait too long to do something over there, then we might never be able to. And if we play a move like this too early, then maybe this is just not even going to be Sente, and a larger move could be taken instead. So we've got a little bit of an issue in the bottom left-hand side. And this side over here, not really certain when the right time is going to be to go back and make certain that we actually have points here. But for now, white's trying to maintain momentum in this game. So he moves to attack the upper right-hand side. Now, it should bear noting that right now we're committing heavily to this attack, right? We went in the corner, our opponent played away, we doubled down on it, and followed up our attack. Our opponent played away, we responded, and then we had Sente, we're going back in there. So we're spending these 3 moves on one corner, which we can't kill right now. So the hope is that by attacking this, we get, I don't know, maybe something large over here, maybe something large over here, to compensate for the fact that we've given up Sente for our opponent to develop while we're attacking these 2 stones. So, rather than just jump out, which would be horrifyingly slow, black leans, white plays a Hane, and now we have something interesting take place. Black is obviously trying to get Sente in, to make shape. But white has adopted an interesting idea this game. White's decided to try to make black heavy. And on the surface, this looks really, really strong, because we almost completely surrounded the corner at this point, right? We're one stone away from completely having surrounded this thing. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see. Marinda said, maybe I missed it. Why does white D15 group not need help? How can white spare the time to R8? I'm going to assume the D15 group is this one. And the reason why is because we're still out. We still have ways to settle. So we're okay for now. Since we're out and since we can make a base, then we can kind of treat those as Miai. Though admittedly, it is risky. This is a very fine thing to have running along in your game. If you don't time the defense of this group correctly, then this is going to be too large to having been left alone. But if you play it too soon, then as mentioned previously, your opponent could ignore you and then wind up taking a larger point. So this is a bit of a fine balance. Alright, so white Atari. Let's see, black descend. Cuts off white. White moves to make base. We connect because there's two cutting points here. White connects. Black makes shape. White connects underneath. Black leans on it for shape. Does he descend? Yes, he does. Okay. So we're picking up some territory. We're leaning for shape. And just like in the basic series, rather than try and do anything tricky right now, black is just making shape with the group that's under attack. Rather than try to do anything risky, try to get any kind of counterattack in or counter pincering in, black is just looking to his own shape right now because he's in trouble. Now, this is where we see white's spirit kind of come back to shoot him in the foot. White managed to connect up. Great. White was attacking this group. Great. But right now this group is okay. So if it were me, I would be more interested in getting some kind of a base here. White, on the other hand, has got spirit. So he decides to fix the cutting point here so he could potentially continue the attack on his opponent. The results of this, AlphaGo simply calculates that this group is fine. We've got good shape. And gets in a very large point. Now we're extending two different ways from this, while white is hoping to attack a group that has shape already. Black fixes his shape. What does he mean with white has spirit? Well, what I mean by that is that white has fighting spirit. White is trying to play in such a way that gives himself a little bit of shape, while hopefully being able to attack the center group still, rather than just get a base for himself and declare himself okay. AlphaGo asks question, can I cut you? White says no. Then we are about to cringe because that makes this disconnect. Sente for AlphaGo. Consulting board. I always forget what side's which. This side. Solidify some shape. Getting a little bit of fourth line territory for white, but not too much. Now here's a problem though. It is clear that AlphaGo is fine. And if we play even one more move, that's going to give Sente to our opponent. So rather than respond here, oh, and you can bet every one of you is gonna wince right now after seeing this move. White has to settle. Because if we lose Sente here, and our opponent gets to poke at us, and then poke at us, or poke at us and then threaten to attack us, then we're in a lot of trouble. White has to settle. And at this point, I think we made a huge mistake. At this point, as white, we screwed up. This move here seemed to be too slow. And against a computer that is just going to calculate constantly what the largest point on the board is, you cannot do that. So, black's just like, alright, well, that's going to give me some extra points. Get rid of a few of yours. White pokes. Black connects. White has to reduce. But the damage has already been done. And black's potential is pretty immense. Black's still threatening to completely surround the group. We didn't respond back in here because it's slow, and it would have been Gote, right? If we defend here, white's already alive. That would have just given Sente to white to play elsewhere and do something. Either go back in Hane here maybe, and then attack down here. Who knows what. So, alright. White's trying to reduce. Black caps. White's moving to settle. White is moving to settle. But the question now becomes, can we? Can we? Well, the answer to that is actually yes. It's pretty easy to settle here. This stone was never going to be in trouble. The problem isn't that this group is going to have trouble settling. The problem is what you're going to give up by having to settle. So we can see here that white is trying to maintain an attack on these 3 stones. Right? White wants to keep pressure on his opponent, because that is how you reduce large amounts of influence. And sure enough, it looks like that's what's going to occur. It looks like we have an attack. Seems reasonable. A lot of Aji here. We should be able to reduce the center. Totally down with this, right? Threatens to surround. Tries to distract black. But white's just going to save it, or black's just going to save himself. Because everyone should be able to calculate that this is, you know, larger than whatever happens to those 3 stones. But we are using them to get in the middle, as we can see here. We are at the very least in the center of the board now, which is nice. Unfortunately, the question then becomes what happens to these 3 stones. Well, black's going to try to settle those 2, or white's going to try to settle those 2. So we hane. And we cross cut, because we're looking for anything that works here. Black play the Atari. White's just trying not to be a dead man. Please don't let a bot kill me. Anything but that. Looks like we're escaping. Looks like we're escaping. We're not making points, though. So this exchange is obviously going better for black than it is for white, but it looks like we're escaping. And it looks like we kind of got this attack still, right? Maybe a little? Maybe a little bit? Except this kind of connects. Oops. So black connects. That's kind of huge, because this is now pretty solid territory compared to white's, right? Solid territory here, solid territory there, solid territory developing down here. Alright, so we're going to threaten to reduce the bottom. And black doesn't care, because black is fine, so he just tries to cut you apart. Gotta back off. Gotta drop stones on the board. Well, this group's now in trouble. So we have to extend. We're still in trouble because we can be surrounded, right? So we lean. Still poking. And I will admit, I was a little bit amused that it is now black, the one that is currently attacking and being ignored. Before it was the human player that was attacking and was being ignored. This did please me slightly. Trying to control shape. Have to decide how we're defending, so we just connect. Oops. Ah, my fingers. They don't like gripping the stones today at all. Trying to live. Looks like we're doing pretty okay here. Connected up our stones, though. This group is pretty much connected up to this one, which is kind of nice. The downside of that is that means we have Sente. That's a downside right there. Because if we have Sente, you know what's coming up next, right? We're threatening to cut through here and put pressure on these stones again. Black's moving to settle. Can't let him come through. Have to connect. Get to poke, because why not? That threatens a disconnect. Whoops. Wrong pile. There we go. And at that point, we kind of have Sente to make a large point again. So, once again, it looks like the human player tried two different things. Tried to keep pressure on this group, or try to keep pressure using this group to put pressure on Black's group. That kind of fizzled out, unfortunately. White then tried to put pressure on these three stones, but that connected and fizzled out, unfortunately. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, did White get enough profit from these two attacks? Because similar to what we saw in the previous game, very, very risky to perform attacks that go nowhere. Very, very risky to perform attacks that go nowhere, especially if you lose Sente while doing so. Because the computer is just going to keep calculating where the largest point is and take it. So we have lovely, lovely, just premium second line territory over here in exchange for attacking this group. We've got primo second line territory over here in exchange for attacking this group. We've got two whole stones that see, dead, two whole stones that we took for ourselves in exchange for trying to attack this group. And I don't know what that is. That right now, I guess, is nothing for the moment, so I don't really know what to count that as. Black, on the other hand, kept taking Sente and making large, stupid areas. Stupid Black. So, right away, one thing that I hope that human players take from this is developing a better sense of shape. That way, the attacks we perform are more severe. That's what I hope. That's what I'm crossing my fingers and hoping the lesson learned is, because I like aggressive games. I love aggressive games. I want to see more aggressive games. What I hope we don't take from this is, oh, I really need to start counting earlier. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. I don't want to see more games that are just like counting and no. I hope players look to develop their sense of shape a bit better for a new era of even more violent Go. But we will have to see. I'm probably going to be disappointed in that regard. Anywho, Gotta make one last ditch effort not to go down in flames completely, so it's like, well, I'll try and take this territory away. Tried something here, we get defended. There's no cutting that works over there. Try to go up in here, we get cut. Trying to make something work, and we're just holding on to the points. White's not even really trying to be killed at this point. I mean, Black's just like, I can take territory over here. And if I take territory over here, and I got follow-up over here, then I'm gonna win the game. Yup. So, here we go to this counting. But White's like, no, I'm going to go into your area, I am, and you're going to die. But that's not going to happen. Spoiler alert. Trying to reduce. Kind of getting cut off, but we're trying to reduce. I use up all of the Aji. Now we're threatening to kill off these stones. Place Atari over there. Get something more in the middle. I don't know anything. Throw the stove at him. Start DDoSing him. I mean, just whatever works, you know? And you can see that White is looking to take any bit of Aji and use it. Because if we live in here, oh, that's a huge blow right there if we live in this area. All we gotta do is live, right? And it looks like we're getting successful. Oh my god, are we allowed to live here? I'll take a moment to ask yourselves this. Do we live here? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Do we live here? You guys are now in Black's position. Congratulations, you are AlphaGo and everyone hates you. What is your next move? I don't think we live here. I think it's Co. What is it? What is it? Come on, humanity rests on this game. You think we live here? I know, there was a spoiler already. I said that clearly not happening. I said clearly that White's losing. And this right here is demonstrating the flaw in our software. Like, even though we know the answer, we're still looking for a way for that not to be true. So yeah. No, we're just gonna poke at that eye, and it's not gonna amount to anything. White's gonna connect. Black's gonna poke at that too, because it has nowhere to go. I mean, if we connect, we're still surrounded, and we don't have a single eye yet. Throw the kitty at him. PETA would not like you for that one. So yeah, this is dead. We resign. We resign. These attacks just didn't go anywhere, do anything. It was regretful. It's not always possible to do what we want to do, but it's important to believe in something before you actually do it. Yeah. That goes back to what I was saying. I mean, a lot of professional players, for example, use their time what we would consider inefficiently because they're human. They tend to reread things because they want something to work out, not because it can. So game number 2 features another 9-dan, as you can see on the screen. That is White again. We are going to go over this one, which is a bit more entertaining. The 9-dan is White again. AlphaGo opens up with 3-4 facing. And White opens up with dual 4-4 point. Again with a large knight. Why not? White approaches. It's the open 3-4 stone. So, okay. Black pincers. And then white, apparently, decides to adopt a different strategy. White is adopting the let's play for territory strategy. It's like, I'm going to force black, into going for influence. I'm going to take me my territories, and this is not going to backfire in any way, shape, or form. If I go file those up. So white's trying an interesting strategy here. White is trying a very interesting strategy here. And that strategy is, let's take points and let him have that thing be over-concentrated. We're developing nicely, but that thing over there, not so much. Where do you play now? AlphaGo, if that is your real name. AlphaGo extends. White caps. I think from what we know now, what is very likely supposed to be the proper play is probably to take the extension. This is probably the correct move. But white's a human. White's not simply taking might be the largest point on the board. White's got a little bit of spirit. So he's going to launch an attack to try to grow the center by attacking this one stone. Black pokes through. And white tries to strengthen himself. Interesting. Can't you attach the black stone in that position, or even pincer? Yes, you probably... Well, no. I don't know. I don't think you would attach to a large knight, because you do hemorrhage a lot of points. That is going to hemorrhage a lot of points attaching to a large knight. I don't know if you'd want to do that. I don't know, that's risky. Poke through. Trying to apply pressure. Black comes in. White's just making shape. Black pokes in. White's just making shape. Black pokes in again. Which makes me wonder, and you'll see why in a minute, if maybe this wasn't actually the correct response on this particular board. It makes me wonder, and you'll see why it makes me wonder. He tries to make shape. The shape kind of gets poked. And poked. Oops. And poked. And now it seems like this attempt to get shape kind of sort of maybe failed miserably for white. So I kind of wonder if it was the right idea. Now we've got black connecting back up and making territory. That's kind of awkward, because white seems to be watching as black just makes territory again. Trying to get something done. Just gonna go ahead and divide that off. White cuts. Again, just going to divide and conquer. So, we see what we can be done in the corner. What can be done in the corner? Bit of a tricky read. Go back to the 2 stones. Black connects. Go after the 2 stones. Black surrounds. Take the 2 stones. I did it again. I think it's this side. Black throws in. Black Ataris. And white seeks to live. Like so. Looks like we're alive. We've got 2 ways of living. We can live this way with the 1 point, and we can live that way with the other point. So we've got 2 ways to live. Now, some players would defend this in some way. And then you give away Sente to your opponent. AlphaGo already got what needed from this. Connect it up. We're developing. Those stones look funny. So it goes to next largest point. Invade 3-3. Take away points. Have to respond. White double Hanes, asking if he can have his corner back. Black says go for it. I don't care. Have your corner back. White takes corner back. Like so. But now this stone has been cut off. So any moves in the middle are kind of attacking everything. Oops. Now it seems like things aren't going quite as well for white as we'd hoped. Because this group is in trouble. It now needs assistance. So it makes some shape. Maybe try to attack 2 stones. Black cuts off the center stone. White defends. And then seeks to build. White seeks to not be surrounded. As a result, we can see the following. We see the cutting point, as black is now trying to develop the area. And white is just struggling not to be horribly attacked in the center of the board. To white's credit, he jumps in, kind of trying to reduce the area that black was trying to take immediately on top of the board. So that's kind of nice. But what is the problem here? Does anyone know? What is the problem here? Anybody have any idea? If you were looking at the board and you were looking for the problem, you might realize that black has a wall and that black now has influence because of said wall. And the entire right part of the board is up for grabs. Which begs the question once again, if this move was the best option available, or if we should have played a move here first, if it was technically not the larger move. White tries to counter, putting pressure on the 3 stones. So now we have to live here. Keep in mind, this is now the 3rd time that white's had to live. We had to live in the corner because we got cut off. We had to live in the center. And now we're having to live over here. And this stone is still not settled. So we had to live, we had to live, we had to live, and we'll have to live. And usually, when you're just running around the board living, you're not really accomplishing much else. So black goes after the cutting point here. We sacrifice that. Attempt to get for faster development by attaching to the enclosure. Black plays Hane. White cross cuts, trying to get something done. Some kind of exchange. Now, I would assume that this was going to try and get more outside thickness. Apparently not. Apparently we're trying to get something done in the corner. So we Hane. Drop down, threaten to capture. I think we're going to play there. Yes, we do play the simple move. By tiring there, we've got 2 force moves later on. Alright. So it looks like we're kind of handling this not terribly, right? We're kind of growing an area. So white's holding up quite okay so far. White connects. Cutting point is pretty large because it's tying his stones together. White follows up. Tari connects. And now since we're fine there, white moves to use Sente to attack the 1 stone. Okay, okay. So far, so good. Black attacks white's shape. White connects. Attaches here to settle. AlphaGo play more since winning 30 games? Yeah, actually it's 60 because it was on Foxy as well as Tygem. Connects. Getting cut off. So we don't screw around, we just go and connect back up. Now those of you who are rather astute players, who are aware of what's going on, will note the problem immediately. And I'll pause here for dramatic effect, while you once again look for the problem. What is the problem in this game? Can anyone spot it yet? White plays the Atari. Looking for those forcing moves. Makes a play for a lot of territory. And make no mistake, that's a lot of territory. If he's able to keep this, it's hard to find comparatively where black's going to have points. Very, very tough. So white is getting reduced now by black, but white is just keeping territory. And here is the problem if you have not seen it yet. Oops. How many groups do we have that are not alive? We've got one here and one that's not connected. Uh-oh. That sounds like SpaghettiOs. So now we're getting poked. Our shape's not doing so hot. Make sure that we don't get cut through, so we're defending. Trying to make certain that we're not dead, so we're trying to get a base. Getting poked. Getting poked. Getting poked. And now that we've done all that poking, we've pretty much lost the game. Because we're not completely alive yet, are we? No, we kind of aren't. Kind of not alive in two places. And basically, that is a terrible thing. As Haya to try to connect up. We get cut. Congratulations on the Atari. Where does the Atari go? Atari goes nowhere. We're getting cut off, so we have to lean. Poking at the upper left-hand corner. And this is where the house of cards comes tumbling down. Because we gotta connect. Which means that dies. Try to get something done here, because look at, we're trying to get the eyes, or poking at the eyes. But the cut there is really good. So this doesn't really kill anything. Just kind of being a nuisance. Like so. Tries to go for some kind of kill on AlphaGo. Pokes through, at least attempts to anyway. Retakes. Black connects. White attempts to kill. But clearly there's enough room for another eye, right? That right there is another eye. So most we can get is these 2 stones. Most we can get are the 2 stones. Come through. Got a large corner now, don't get me wrong. That's now a large corner. So we're kind of swapping corner for corner, right? Black comes through. Can we connect up? That is now the glorious question before us. Looks like we cannot. And thus we've got a slight issue. We need to live in the middle of the board. It's kind of tough to do right now. Because we've got the 1 eye. Don't get me wrong, I got that 1 eye. That 1 eye is nice. That 1 eye is pretty beautiful. But where's the second one coming from? Anyone see number 2? Can we make an eye with this? No. Not really. Can we make an eye with this? No, not really. Does that give us an eye? Nope. Actually, maybe this one instead. A little bit of a problem trying to live in the middle of the board right now, it would appear. So white kind of resigns. Kind of tries to resign. Unfortunately, kind of like the other games, we have a little bit of a problem. Rather than just take the largest points, got into attack that did split us to make us into a horrible shape. Are there no forcing moves? Where are your forcing moves? I mean, you got a couple. This is a forcing move, right? It doesn't really give you anything. These aren't forcing moves because this side and this side are fine. So we could, in fact, ignore and keep poking at the eye. Nothing really over here. But yeah, the game kind of went a little bit of the same way. Like I said, I'll probably do one more review, an AlphaGo game where AlphaGo is actually playing white, I guess. Not the mirror game, but something else. Because all 3 of these games have been with AlphaGo playing black. I should do at least one, I suppose, with him not being black and him playing as white, him, it, whatever. So, yeah. I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a great weekend. What's left of it. And if it's Monday for you, then rip. And yeah, see you guys later. Take care, everybody.